Wrote This Shit is a comedy podcast where three friends talk about bad books. Opinions are subjective, but if we hurt anyone's feelings, we apologize in advance. Also, there are times where we talk about graphic and explicit content. Listener discretion is advised.
I blew ba ba dee da ba da da ba dee da ba da da ba da da. Hold on.
I hate you so much. I hate you both so much. This is why I didn't want to dye my hair blue, but everyone picked this color after purple.
Blue me. You're a blue meanie. Blue mayonnaise. Do you get that reference?
Okay. No.
It's from the Yellow Submarine. The blue mayonnaise. I just want to say for the record that I thought peach would look really cute.
I don't think it would look good with my complexion. Like pastel colors, those light colors do not look good on me because of how fucking pale I am.
I'm gonna show you what a blue meanie is.
Okay. And, well, hope's doing that.
You should
Hello.
just share your screen.
Welcome.
Share your
Oh
screen. Oh, how? Double click. Yeah, okay. Share. Yeah, right there, right there. Here. Start sharing. Do you see that? Do you see? Wait. This.
Oh my god.
Blue meanies from the Beatles, Yellow Submarine cartoon. It's a mushroom that you trip on, which makes a lot of sense.
Okay. Are you guys ready to do this?
Yeah. Let me.
Okay. You got it out of your system?
It's out.
Okay. I swear to God. You guys break out in that song.
But I'm changing your
anymore.
name in my phone to Blue Meanie. Oh, God.
I hate you, Hope, with the burning intensity of a billion suns.
I love you, Aaron.
Okay. Welcome to Who Wrote This Shit, where we usually read bad books. Bad books so that you don't have to. It's been a long time. Have you guys been? Just kidding. We don't need to know.
Let's not get into that.
No. So this week, however, we wanted to review something that I think is extremely important, and I think that you two think is extremely important, and it struck a chord with all of us. So before we go into what we're talking about, I'm Erin, the Blue Meanie.
Continue.
You guys not going to introduce yourselves?
Oh, yeah, I'm Hope. Chronically single. Wow. I am Juniper. Yep. Yeah.
Oh my god. What an introduction.
I know.
So this week we were supposed to be reviewing the Handbook for Mortals. That book was so boring that none of us really wanted to record the episode, so we kept putting it off because it was so boring.
Terrible.
And there was just no point in talking about it because there was nothing to talk about. And if you want a really good review, I don't remember who the YouTuber is, but he titled his video,
I'm sorry, I just choked. My mouth was so dry. It was so dry. I just brushed my teeth was dry. Felt really, like, thick. Everything was thick. My words were coming out weird.
Anyway, you want a good review? Look up the YouTube video, A Handbook for Morons. He does a great review on it. So, we decided this week to review Bo Burnham's newest special called Inside, which is on Netflix. And it is his most recent special since his last one, which was called Make Happy. And we know this isn't a book. It's much better than a book. It is an emotional journey that kind of just takes you through what everybody kind of went through in 2020 pandemic. And we believe it is an important conversation to have because it deals with mental health, isolation, the cost of making a movie by yourself. And if you've worked in production or taken some production classes, you know how much fucking work that is. But I'm also really excited to talk about that part. But before we do anything, Hope, who is Bo Burnham?
Bo Burnham. He started on YouTube around 2007 posting silly songs for his friends, and then he went viral when viral was a real thing. And I guess not just like a TikTok thing, which is a real thing.
You remember when you remember when viral was like, a video went viral like in early 2000s, and it was viral because everybody had heard of it and seen of it.
Yeah.
And seen it and knew exactly what you were talking about.
Think like Rebecca Black Friday kind of viral. Remember, what was that YouTube video where the kid was like, he bit my finger! Charlie
bit my finger.
Charlie! Ow! Ow! Charlie!
And it's been like 15 years. At least 15 years since that video's gone viral, and ask anybody, and you reference that video, everybody's gonna know what you're talking about.
Yeah, or like what was it, a chipmunk or something that just looked really serious all of a sudden? Yeah.
Or the sneezing panda.
Sneezing panda. Oh my god. Everybody loved that video.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Or the Star Wars kid.
Candy Mountain.
Candy Mountain. Charlie, we need to go to Candy Mountain. Charlie. And then at the end, he was like, oh, fuck, they took my kidneys.
It was great.
Candy Mountain, Charlie.
There was like a whole series with that too, where they just ended up like taking like almost every organ from him in every video. It was great.
What about lettuce fingers? Lettuce fingers. No. Salad fingers. Salad fingers.
I know, but salad no.
Fingers, yeah. No, you don't like salad fingers?
I want
rusty
absolutely
spoons.
fucking not.
I like touching the rusty spoons.
The voice freaked me out.
The way it feels on my finger. I remember how it should have ended. Do you guys remember how it should have ended? The cartoons that took movies and then made the cartoons about how they should...
They're still doing that.
I should look them up because they're always really good.
What about Numa? Like, I'm going like when we were in 7th grade. Numa. And then Llama.
Yes.
Have you ever seen a llama kiss a llama on the llama? Fama llama. There's just like
grapes. The duck song.
Yeah.
And I
Oh
said,
my god.
have any grapes?
Like, that is true virality. You know what I mean? Like, that is when viral was actually a thing versus now where everyone says something's gone viral. And I'm like, I never heard of that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Anyway, we're getting off
things
topic.
can get like millions of views nowadays, and it's not. I won't know about it until it's in the news or something.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he went early 2000s viral, and then he signed a 4-year contract with Comedy Central when he was around 16 or 17 years old. He was probably already like 6, 7 at that point. He's really tall.
He's 6'5".
Oh, well, you know.
He's still fucking tall.
Yeah, that's still tall. So his specials, words, make happy, and then the one that we're reviewing today. Make happy was his last special because he kind of quit after that because he had anxiety issues and attacks on stage. And like on the way to performances and stuff. So he stopped for like 5 years, and then he was about to go out and perform again, and then COVID happened. So he made Inside. He sure did hope.
Are you a newscaster?
He really did. Thank you. And on to Inside.
Okay, the reason why this is so different from other comedy specials is because he wrote it, directed it, lighted it, edited it, shot it, wrote all the music, the lighting. Like, he literally did everything in this by himself. In this one space.
And it almost made him go crazy.
It kind of, a little bit
He
did.
was a little bit crazy. Was he isolated the whole time?
But,
I'm assuming so. Yeah.
well, I think
For 6
that's
months.
like, I don't know. I think I know that's like a house like on his property. So I think he just like went there to like record and stuff and like work. But I think he was able to like leave it when he was done working and then just kind of like go to his house.
Yeah, I don't know. Video was that grape stomping video where that woman fell on her face.
Oh!
And then she
Where
made...
she goes, oh, 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 oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then it switches back to the newscasters and they're like, oh God, we hope she's okay. Yeah, quick recovery.
And they're laughing their asses off.
Oh man, that's so...
I'm pretty sure she actually broke bones too.
How I don't understand how she fell
Well,
because I've watched it multiple times and every time I'm like,
she was stomping. She was stomping, and then she like slipped, and she was going forward, and all of a sudden you hear her go, oh, 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 and then she like falls out of frame. And you just keep hearing that sound out of frame, and it's like, I shouldn't be laughing.
you know, yeah.
It's
But a lot of people got a lot
so
of joy
funny.
from her pain, so that's
Yeah.
what virality will do to ya, grapist. Oh yeah.
Oh my god, these are so old.
Wasn't that
I
like
feel so
that was
old.
from like college?
Yeah, or something.
What is that thing called? College comedy or something?
College
College
humor.
humor, yeah. Wow, I just can't, like, I'm almost there every time, but I just fall, like, an inch short of the finish line. Like, I just can't get there.
So the first song is called Content. And basically this song
is about the pressure that fans put on content creators to keep pumping out all of the videos and content basically for their amusement, and they don't really think about the actual content creator and how they have to come up with this, and it emotionally and creatively drains them, and they do this all for us. So that's basically...
he says he says a line in it where he's like, I made you some content, Daddy made your favorite open wide.
Yeah.
Where it's like, look, I made your content, I'm like one of your favorite content creators, so you're just going to like absorb whatever I put out there, whether it's like good or bad. Like it's just entertainment for you in that moment.
Yeah.
I've been listening to this album nonstop. So
the third one is second one.
wow.
The second one
Jennifer
is
can't count
comedy. I think you guys have any insight
it's kind of like
on this?
It's like making fun of comedians who have like the sense of self-importance.
Yeah.
Where they're like, I feel good about what I'm doing because I'm saving the world with comedy.
Ooh.
And I'm like bringing these issues to the forefront.
Yeah, isn't it? He's literally saving the world metaphorically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like making fun of the way some people put like a sense of self-importance into what they do, when really it's like you're giving a little levity in the moment, but you're not really making the world better, like in the long run. It's more like in this moment, yes, my world is a little bit better, but once this is done,
someone a chuckle.
Yeah.
The third one is FaceTime with my mom tonight. And, I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. It's how pretty much all of us have experienced FaceTime with our family members.
And it was, like, the only form of communication we had with people, like, in the pandemic was, like, FaceTiming, and it just stresses you out because it's, like, there's always one person that doesn't know how it works.
Yeah.
So it's, like, they're, like, you know, their phone's like here. And it's like, it doesn't need to be there.
Yeah. And then someone's a potato and they don't know how to stop being a potato. And
yeah.
That was a pretty short song, I think. Mm-hmm. The next song was How the World Works.
This one was...
Sock Puppet. That one hit hard, not gonna lie, because it was very poignant at this point in time, because the sock puppet tells the person who's puppeteering him that he shouldn't have to do the work to get him to self-actualize about the situation. And then the person puppeteering was like, no, you're gonna do what I say.
It's like when he was puppeteering the sock, and then it's like when the sock was saying, it's not my responsibility to teach you why this is like real or anything. And it's like once that conversation turned to something uncomfortable for the person's puppeteering, he like made the sock conform to what he wanted, like back to being in like a sock. Like, well, you can't just say what you want to say. Like, you have to say what I want you to say.
Here's what it reminded me of. It reminded me of white people trying to get educated about problems in the world from the people that those problems are affecting. So, like,
Yeah.
Black Lives Matter, white people walking up to their black friends and saying, hey, educate me. I want to be educated about this. And the black friends being like, I am way too fucking exhausted emotionally and physically from everything going on to have to take the time out of my day to teach you just because you're too lazy to Google this shit.
Yeah, that's kind of what it reminded me too. It's like you're saying that you want to learn, but you're not putting forth the effort yourself to learn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, and there was like, I don't know, I was listening to a podcast, and one of the podcasters was like, yeah, I got an African American teacher to like teach me about the history of like what African Americans have been going through and to teach me like significance of like different things and stuff like that. And I was like, why do you need a teacher? I just asked myself, like, why do you need someone to teach you when it's, I mean, the information's out there. If you take the time to like look.
Is readily available for anyone who's willing to go searching for it.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
maybe it's to help to like
putting that burden on the people who are struggling in the moment. Like, they're already trying to stay afloat in a big, huge fucking mess in a country where institutionalized racism has been a thing since the dawn of the country and statehood. And then on top of that, white people are like watching these people struggling. It's like walking up to someone struggling in a pool, just like trying to stay afloat, and walking up to them and being like, can you teach me how to swim?
Yeah.
Like, no, do it on your own time. I'm trying to do this right now. Can't you see I'm exhausted physically from this? I don't have time to teach you how to swim. Yeah, and then at the end, he rips the sock puppet off anyway. So,
yeah.
And the
Like
noises that
the noises
made
were terrifying.
I watched a part of it before I listened. So I watched like the first 30 minutes, which is like the first 3 songs, because like each song you kind of like see how he's like editing some videos and he's like setting up lights and stuff, and he kind of gives you like an update on where he's at mentally, you know. And so I think I stopped after like FaceTime with my mom, and then I listened to the album at work, and then I was very confused about how the world works because I didn't know it was like a sock puppet. So when it was like making those sounds, I was like, what? What is going on here? So yeah, it was just very, very strange.
the next song is probably the most catchy song. Well, I don't really want to say that, but it gets stuck in my head every single time I hear it, or think about it, or read the words.
Or you watch the video.
White woman.
I watched the video
Instagram.
so many. Yeah, I watched the video so many times that when I listen to the song, it plays in my head now. And can I just say, Bo Burnham makes a much better, prettier white woman than like any other white woman I've seen on Instagram.
He makes
like,
a pretty good one.
Definitely
like he hits the poses.
A really good Instagram presence.
Well, and I know that, like, white people can be, like, pretty sensitive when you're pointing out their generalities and stuff, but my favorite videos so far in response to this particular song have been white women going through their Instagram
and showing the
And
pictures
finding.
he puts on there, and then comparing them to the exact same ones that they have
Yeah.
on their Instagram. It's hilarious. I
think-
never post on Instagram, so...
Yeah. All my Instagram pictures are of my cats, and there's one picture of me wrapped up in a burrito blanket.
Yeah.
I think that's it.
Yep.
But I liked the song. I liked the bridge, the middle part, because it's when she's talking about her mom. In a lot of reaction videos I watched, they really missed the part where when she starts talking about her mom, the aspect ratio on the screen like widens. So you have the superficiality of the Instagram screen, right? And then when she starts becoming more human and like opening up more, like the aspect ratio of the screen like widens to give her like that space to just be like a person. And then when she's going back to talking about like how well her life is going and stuff, the aspect ratio slowly like pushes in, and then it goes back to the superficiality that is Instagram. So it kind of like it humanizes the white woman Instagram character. And I feel like a lot of reaction videos miss that because they're just so caught up in, one, it's a great fucking song, and two, it's a great fucking video. Like, but that part always seems to get like skipped because it's like with every other Bo Burnham song, there's something to like.
Layers. It's a real onion. It's a real onion. Yeah. It's just like Shrek. Got its layers.
It's like
At least it doesn't.
like a onion heart or whatever that you get at
Are you
the
talking about
restaurants.
artichoke hearts?
No, I'm talking about the onion that they cut it and it just
Oh,
goes
fried onion?
Yeah, but there's a name for it.
An onion flower?
It's just I don't fucking know what it's called. I never get it, but that's what this is.
Oh my god.
It's an onion dipped in egg and then deep fried.
And then you dip it in ranch and it's fucking delicious. If I ate eggs, I would eat it all the time.
Truer words. Alright, speaking of onions, let's talk about interns.
Okay.
Whoo!
Interns.
He's specifically talking about like unpaid interns,
Yeah.
right?
Basically all interns are unpaid.
Yeah.
Where I work, they pay the minimum wage for them. I don't know if that's being normalized everywhere else, but at least
Minimum
where
wage in
I
Idaho is $7.25 an hour, right?
live in
But
Washington.
in Washington, it's
Oh,
like
so is it
$13 or something.
$13.50. Yeah.
That's nice.
It's almost.
I
it's
mean,
almost
it's
twice
not a
as
living
much.
wage by any way means.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how many times I've been scrolling through, like Indeed or LinkedIn or whatever, and I'll come across an intern listing, and it'll be like, you must have 5 years experience. You must be
Yeah.
willing to dedicate 40 hours a week to plus overtime to this job. You must have 1,000 other requirements. And then they're like, you must be willing to work for free. This is a volunteer. And it's like,
Oh yeah.
how do these people have the fucking balls to ask that much of an intern? And also, like, how have we decided to normalize not paying people for work so that they
Capitalism?
get experience? Like, what the hell?
I think the funniest thing is that he makes a reaction video of his reaction video of his reaction video to this song Intern.
Yeah,
Kinda
then he
like-
My
gets
favorite
upset.
part is when he screams at the end.
Yeah. where he's like, okay, we gotta stop. Okay, thank you for joining me here today. I will see you in the next video. And it's like, I don't know how he recorded, like, filmed that. I keep playing it, and I still can't figure out how he did it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
It just reminds me of how we have so many different jobs in America that pay so little, but
Demand so much from
well,
you.
it demands so much, and then it's like, you should be willing to basically give us your soul and your life for like $5 an hour, basically like a stipend, and working 40 plus hours a week.
Oh my God.
In some ridiculous...
Don't even get me
It's not-
started on the frickin' AmeriCorps thing. I will fucking talk about that for days.
Well,
Well, it's kinda like-
I was gonna bring up the frickin' GBI guys that I live with, which are AmeriCorps, but it's through GBI.
AmeriCorps is modern slavery for white people. It's like anybody with enough privilege to have parents who can pay your way through an AmeriCorps a contract. It's like the only way you can make it through, which is ridiculous. Why are we doing that to people? And why are we not giving opportunities to other people who would otherwise not be able to do it because of that?
Because we want to keep the poor down, and mostly
And then-
that's marginalized groups.
You know what interns and AmeriCorps volunteers do? Like, not only do they get shit stipends so that people who don't already have a good nest egg to support them while they're working there can't work there to get the experience everyone says is necessary for these jobs. It means that places like the National Park Service, the Forest Service, any NGO that uses AmeriCorps volunteers are using those volunteers in place of paying a living wage to an actual employee. It's bad from the top down. It's terrible. Don't do it. We shouldn't support this shit.
Well, and the management, the higher up management, are getting paid a ridiculous amount compared to the people that they're making
Getting
work
like
in the field.
$4 an hour, maybe.
Yeah. Like the GBI crew.
I've never
that,
looked into AmeriCorps,
is working
so.
on the crew.
It's terrible. I don't understand why it's still around. Like, it's still around because places like the National Park Service and NGOs would prefer to not have to pay employees to do the work. And then they have incentives like, oh, you get so much money back for your student loans or get money towards school. But like,
But, like,
you have
you
to
can't live.
suffer for an entire year for that. Just for the experience everyone demands from people. Because you're not allowed to learn on the job anymore. You're not allowed to learn on the job. You know why? You know why? It's because the fucking baby boomers, first of all, won't die, won't retire, refuse to give anyone jobs.
How dare people refuse to
so
die?
Here's what happened. Here's the timeline of shit that happened. So, we have the 2007-2008 housing bubble bursts. We go into a major recession. Major recession. What happens when we go into that recession is that people who had like 8, 10, 15 years experience were getting kicked out of their jobs, laid off, fired, whatever, and then they'd have to pick up these
Entry level jobs?
entry level jobs.
Oh my god. Oh.
So, for these entry-level jobs that were normally going to people without the experience, or at least just not as much experience, they were giving these entry-level jobs to people who had experience. 8 years, 10 years, 12 years, 15 years experience, because they were all kicked out of their other jobs. And what happened because of the fucking baby boomers is that now you look at a job listing, and the job listing is demanding for an entry-level position. I'm talking 30 grand a year, 40 grand a year, maybe. Nothing you could live on in LA. Oh my god, let me tell you. Nothing you could live on comfortably in like a big city kind of area. They're demanding that you have like 5 years experience, 8 years experience for these entry-level jobs. It makes no goddamn sense, but it's because of the recession that happened and the influx of the baby boomers.
Okay, you're gonna
And that's why we can't get jobs.
You're gonna blow a
That's
vein.
why we
Hope.
can't have nice things.
My blood pressure went up there for a second.
Your face
Like I was
would
at the
be
dentist.
red.
It's like I was at the dentist office all over again.
Okay, should we move on before your brain
yeah.
explodes from pure anger?
Okay.
Yeah, so, baby boomers can suck a dick.
Unless you listen to this podcast, we love you.
I don't think any baby boomers listening to this podcast.
They're like, baby boomers wouldn't listen. They'd be like, oh, what channel are they on? Is
They'd
that
be the
on
ones
the
holding their
radio?
phone up to their nose.
Okay, now that we've alienated all the baby boomers that
Yeah.
never listen to this.
Holy
And
shit.
Gen Z, the
Alright.
only people that are staying are the millennials. Who are like now in their 40s. Like
Bezos
how?
Song.
I know, we're so
How?
old. Hey, Aaron, we're almost
Shut-
30. We're almost 30.
Shut up. Don't tell me
20 more
that.
years and
You
we
know
get
what
to
I
get
want?
Colonoscopies.
Yeah, in 20 more years.
You know what? I want at exactly midnight on my birthday, on my 30th birthday, I want the song 30 by Burnham immediately playing on my phone. And just try and live another 10 more years after that.
Yeah.
We'll get to that song later on, but that's what I want for my
So
30th
the next
birthday.
song is Bezos.
Bezos won. And it's just a song about capitalism and Jeffrey Bezos.
Yeah. It's pretty
It's-
short.
It's like on par with his other famous song, his number one famous song, World on Fire. Have you guys heard that one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, fuck Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
dude has enough money to literally give everyone free school, forgive everyone's student loans ever, and end world hunger all at once. And he's
But
fucking
instead he
trying
wants-
to colonize space.
Yeah, he's trying to
Like-
get to the moon. Or like he's trying to like go to Mars or some shit. Instead of like
They're trying to get off
Fixing
the
shit
planet
here.
just as it starts to, like, really go to shit. Like,
Yeah.
they really just want to get off the planet. It's bizarre. It's almost as if they know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
This is depressing. My only solution?
Kill.
Oh, I was gonna say marry a rich dude. Marry
Marry
into,
a-
like, a royal family or something.
Royal families are fucking broke
No,
nowadays. No, just
that
marry a
doesn't help
millionaire.
anything.
Just marry a millionaire.
So, fucking,
And suck all the
anyway,
money out.
seduce Jeff Bezos and then murder him. Get into space, kill him.
Don't murder
just
him. You'll get
airlock
caught.
him. I'm sure they do, like, hella background checks. Before I could even get near him, they would be like, no, she did a podcast once. Nobody listened to it. But, she said she wanted to kill Bezos. Eat the rich.
I mean,
Eat the
considering that fucking...
But I could airlock him. I could airlock him
Okay.
in the spaceship.
You
I could
totally
airlock
just
him, and then his body would hit the atmosphere, right? Go like start burning up. By the time it
You
gets to
literally
the planet,
just interrupted
it's
Juniper.
already cooked. It's already cooked in.
Your goose is
Once it-
cooked. Let Juniper talk.
Oh,
Juniper, are you drinking LaCroix?
Yeah.
Oh my god, you turned true Californian, haven't you?
I've been doing this for a while. Everybody
How
drinks
long have you been
LaCroix.
hiding from me that you've been drinking LaCroix? I don't think I can be
I
friends
haven't
with you.
hidden anything. I've been drinking bubbly water for 6 years. Before it even became
Aaron,
cool.
you drink ice. You have no place to talk.
I don't drink ice
Ice is
anymore.
just LaCroix with color.
I don't drink ice anymore because it made my gastritis mad.
Well, yeah.
So I
like-
can't really drink anything bubbly.
Sexting?
I don't. This is my least favorite song. Out of like all of the songs.
It's pretty blah compared to the rest, but, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I just
Also-
say that the top 1% of the richest fucking people have caused 90% of the world's carbon emissions, okay? That is what I was trying to get out.
Did you get a towel?
No.
I have a towel.
You're just
Juniper.
letting the LaCroix soak into the carpet that I'm gonna step on.
Yeah.
You're a
Oh my
fucking
God.
monster.
It's
If that doesn't make it into the shorts,
You
you
can't-
guys,
you-
I'm gonna be really upset. Because your guys' face in
monster.
that moment was just chef's kiss.
so glossing over sexting. I mean, like, I think what he was trying to get across was like, we can't hang out with our booze anymore, so
We sexed because it's
gotta
the next
sex.
best
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, well, I've never sexted.
It's really uncomfortable.
It's not
It
fun.
doesn't
It's not fun at
appeal
all.
to me. And also,
I don't know.
I live
that
with my
it-
partner, so not having, I'm good. I got what I need.
know, I don't know that it appeals to most women. I could be wrong about that, but I do think that men generally just, like, their brains aren't connecting, and, like, in reality, we tolerate it and let them send the stuff, and then we're like, oh, wow. But really, we're just taking a dump as we text, because it's not,
I know a
it is
lot
not
of
as
women,
exciting for us.
I know a lot of women that really enjoy it.
That's nice.
And so to them, they think it's like great foreplay. Get you excited, anticipating what's gonna happen, And I'm like, okay. I guess it's the same as reading like a fuck book, you know, a book that has sex in it.
A smut book.
A smut book where, except sexting has pictures.
It can, yeah. So
So
I've never met a woman who has enjoyed sexting, so that's interesting. They're out there.
I
met
think
people who tolerate it and then play along because they want their partner or whoever they're texting to enjoy themselves or just to, like, get it over with. That's generally what I do. I'm like, oh, wow. Look at it. Look at that. It's so veiny.
Yeah,
I literally asked a man today because he offered to send me a pic of his peen. Pic of his pecker.
Mm-hmm.
His little woody wood. And I asked, I was like, I'd never know what to say. Like, if you want to send me a picture of your peen, then go ahead. In the knowledge that it does nothing for me, I do not look at a peen and get hot and bothered. But if you want to send it to me, does the act of that make you feel fine, then okay. But what do I say to make you feel better about this? Because a thumbs up just doesn't cut it most of the time for these guys. And he said to say, hey, that looks nice, you know, like in a sexy way maybe. And then I was like, oh, the sexy part confuses me. I don't get it.
Yeah.
He stopped texting me, so.
Well, I was kind of like, when this song was, I was like looking at David when sexting was on, and I was like, does this do anything for you? And he's like, no. He's like, I don't get it. So I think there's like equal people on both sides where everyone's like.
I disagree.
Some people are like,
I don't think it's equal. I think men think that it's equal, maybe. That they think that women really want a good look at their ding-a-ling. I don't think most women are interested. In my experience, when I've asked or talked about
these three women are for sure not interested.
Yeah.
Just we 100% know.
Like,
I don't know. I've never sexted. Yeah. When I was on Tinder and a guy swiped right and we matched, and the first thing he sends me is a dick pic, it's like, you won't even say hi? Like, okay, I'm just gonna unswipe you then.
Yeah. I mean, I think Tinder, you've already heard, I cannot use Tinder, but,
Right.
Hinge is so bizarre because I matched with a person like yesterday or something, I can't remember. And the first thing he said to me, there was no hello, how you doing, nothing. No pleasantries. And he was like, hey, want to meet up? Yeah, random stranger on the internet. I'll just go meet up with you. I'm definitely not gonna be murdered. What? I watch too much true crime for that shit. Also, how do you talk? How do you sext? How do you talk sexy to a person?
He was, like, talking about, like, emojis and stuff, and I was like, I don't, like, okay, I get the peach. Carrot's a little confusing. I get that. And then, like, the Ferris wheel. Okay, and then, like, the admission ticket.
A little
and he, like,
abstract.
explained that. And then she sent a snowman. He's like, oh, thank God. And I was like, what does the snowman mean? I don't know what it means.
You might be reading into it a little more than he intended. I don't think a snowman means all that much in the grand scheme of things.
Well, he was like afraid that like the admission ticket meant that like she now thinks that he thinks her vagina is the size of a Ferris wheel. And then he said, oh no, everything's back on track because she sent a snowman.
Yeah,
I'm like,
I think maybe you're reading into it a tiny bit more than
It was supposed to be
1000%
ridiculous.
accurate.
Yeah,
it was supposed to
it was
be.
supposed to be absurd.
Okay. Well, it did its job. It
There
confused
you
me.
go.
But the part where he said my dick looks like the baby in Eraserhead, I was like, that is so funny. Jennifer, you know what the baby in Eraserhead looks like?
Yeah, I do.
Oh God.
It's gross.
Yeah.
It's scary. Yeah.
And he's like, the flash makes my dick look frightened. His parts were really funny.
Yeah.
That one I
Yeah.
laughed a lot at, but it's not my favorite song. But also, all the songs are just good musically.
Yeah. So the next song was Look Who's Inside Again.
And this one I think is different from
and-
the other song.
Yeah, I think this is where he started really struggling with his mental health, I think.
Yeah, because it's not like filmed like all the previous music videos. Like there's nothing really to it. There's no fancy lighting. It's not like telling a story or anything. It's like him sitting on the floor with his keyboard. And he's just like in a t-shirt and sweatpants. And he's just filming himself recording this song.
Well, and this song is literally just about how you can't be you can't be creative if you're just stuck in a room. I mean, like,
At least
obviously,
it's really hard.
what? Oh, you're
really
frozen,
hard to
so
be
I can't
creative.
hear you.
Oh, God
Oh,
damn
there we
it.
go. Yeah. Yes. It is very hard to be creative when you're stuck in a room. And I think that is one of the most relatable songs as well, because we were all experiencing that. Maybe not to the extent of like, oh, I have this big Netflix deal and I need to make this comedy special, but it seemed like one of the more relatable songs for sure.
Yeah,
Pretty simple.
because everyone
Yeah.
was like, "Oh, I'm gonna lose 20 pounds in isolation," and or like finish the novel or whatever it is everybody
Yeah.
said they were gonna do, and then a lot of people did nothing, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
I did.
And
I did nothing.
And I think he's also kind of like talking about how he's like now out in the world. Like once he puts this out, he's out in the world again. But he's looking for a reason to go back inside again. And so
Yeah,
I
the
think,
outside is scary.
yeah. And then he found it, and then it's like, and I keep thinking about the last part where it's like saying like, well, look who's outside again, looking for a reason to go back inside again or something, like put in like a come out with your hands up. It's like, I don't know if that's talking about how like his fans are like, okay, you're back out now, you can't go back inside, so you have to come back outside because that's where we want you now. Might be reading too much into it, but I don't know if he feels like pressured that he has to stay outside.
I don't know. I feel like his onion songs are just real oniony. So
They
just
are,
peel back
yeah.
all the layers.
And I guess
Peel back all the layers and eat
Dip
them
it
like
in ranch and lick that off.
well, it's also, yeah,
ranch
there's another.
onion.
Oh my God.
With some salad fingers.
Okay.
Misty spoons.
Moving on.
I like touching the spoon.
I fucking hate salad fingers.
Okay, so
The voices, it just creeps me out.
Did
The
they
way
ever
it's
like,
so...
finish that? Because he had like a little.
He finished it, and then he started a new project. Which
Did he-
is just
'cause
as creepy
all-
as salad fingers.
All I remember is that he had like a little coal baby, and from his furnace, and I don't remember much after that. And maybe he killed someone. I can't remember.
You might be thinking of the other YouTuber that does animations.
I am not. I am distinctly, specifically not.
Oh, I might be thinking of someone else that finished a cartoon series, but I thought he finished it and he was moving on to something else. Shall we go on to the next song?
Juniper's looking up salad.
Oh my god.
okay,
Alright.
so the next song was problematic. I think it's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, he was talking about the shit that he did back when he was a kid that would be problematic now.
But it's also like,
Well, and
he's
he was
wondering
also
why no
talking
one's...
about. He was
Okay.
also talking about how how I mean, in my opinion, what he was saying was that he is a white cis man who made some problematic song statements, whatever, in the past, in the just trying to get a laugh, and it's not appropriate anymore. But nobody's holding him accountable. And if he just goes back and he says, "Oh yeah, that was super shitty, I'm being accountable," then that's good enough. But he's like kind of playing on that, where he's like, that shouldn't be good enough. People should keep
Yeah.
me accountable.
And he's also wondering, like, why people aren't keeping him accountable, right? And it
Yeah.
kind of reminded me of, like, the cancellations of 2020 on YouTube. And how, like, all the stuff in the song he said was, like, exclusively from some of the YouTubers on there.
I mean, to
You
be
know.
fair, some of those YouTubers, they do too much.
Yeah, and it sounded like a fake apology. Like how a lot of YouTubers do fake apologies.
Yes. Yeah.
Or like
yes. Do, like, a
celebrities
fake
do
cry.
fake
So
apologies.
that they can keep their sponsorships.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pull
Really, like anybody that has
Laura Lee.
yeah.
Or
like
Shane Dawson, or a Jeffree Star, or a Manny MUA, or everything, everyone.
What's that guy's name that swung his friend into a crane?
David Dobrik.
David
he-
motherfucking Dobrik.
But he also like recorded a video where a girl was allegedly assaulted and posted it up on YouTube.
Yes.
And the brothers, the blonde
Logan Paul.
sociopaths.
Oh.
Yeah.
Logan and Jake Paul. They don't apologize because
Trisha
they don't think they
Paytas
do anything
also.
wrong.
They just keep going because those 12-year-olds will keep watching them
Yeah.
and buying their stuff.
Anyways,
30.
the next song is 30. He had made a goal to finish the Netflix special within 6 months, and he didn't, and he turned 30 and he filmed it, and it was depressing.
It was very depressing. He was just so
He
defeated.
was so sad.
And he was also like comparing to like what his grandpa did when he was 27 versus what he did when he was 27. But it's also like, dude, you got insanely famous when you were like 14, 15. And they
He's
had
been
a
in
comedy.
like movies and TV shows. Like
He wrote
he's produced
a
and directed movies.
Yeah, and they've all have like really good scores, like 98%
Yeah.
on Rotten Tomato. So it's like he has accomplished so much, and the fact that we like, well, it's kind of like when my parents were my age, they had already had like they had a coffee shop, they had a computer shop, you know, they own their own businesses, and it's like, and they had like they owned their house and stuff, you know, they finished school. And it's like, well, at my age, I have a house. I have a stable job. I'm still in school because I don't know when to quit.
Yeah, tell me about it.
And so it's like, but I'm also like, I'm in a really healthy relationship. Like, I'm like in a good spot for me in my life, like where I want to be. Versus, so it's like the fact that he minimizes his accomplishments in this song. It's like, dude, you did more in your 15 years of fame than I did in the last 15 years of my life.
Yeah, and I mean, to be fair, his depression is showing. But I was just gonna say that his special on Google reviews, 97% liked the movie. Rotten Tomatoes, 94%. IMDb, 8.8. And let me tell you, IMDb, those reviews, the like user reviews, that's where you really find the scum of the earth. The people who have nothing better to do than to find something and just shit on it for the sake of shitting on it. So that's impressive. That is impressive.
Yeah. And I also think 30 is kind of like where the tone shifts in the special, because everything up to there is kind of like funny and stuff, you know. It's insightful, but it's not like anything serious. But it's like once he hit 30, it's like it's kind of like a depression slide from there, you know. It's like the midpoint of the special, which is like the midpoint of the pandemic, where everyone just kind of, like, everyone was fine, you know, everyone was like up here at the beginning of the pandemic, and then like the longer it just held out, like everyone's like mental health just kind of like went
Declined.
down.
Yeah.
And people who have never experienced depression experience depression. So it's and you know, people with, and which is interesting, well, they've probably like felt sad stuff, but like actual depression is like it's hard to get back from feeling that low.
Well, I think it kind of shows what everyone went through when, because like in our lifetimes we've lived through a lot of weird shit. We've lived through like West Nile, SARS. We've lived through MRSA. That was a big thing where we were, but we might just be really disgusting. Anthrax. Do you remember fucking anthrax? I was terrified of anthrax when I was a kid. And Ebola. Like, we've lived through like all of those things. So then when this happened, I think a lot of us were like, oh, well, we did just have an Ebola outbreak like 2 years ago. So, you know, like we were, a lot of us were like, we've lived through this before. We'll make it work. And then after like the 6-month mark, or even before that, I think.
I would say it was like after the second month.
We all realized, we were like, oh, fuck, we're stuck in this for a while.
Yeah.
And everybody who's not wearing their masks and not getting vaccinated aren't helping the situation. We have COVID, we have the Delta variant, and now there's fucking Lambda. I hope you're all happy, but I also hope you kind of die. Harsh. I don't even care.
Well, Hope, you also said that baby boomers aren't dying fast enough, so I don't think you can call Juniper out on being
well, that's
harsh.
just like a statistical truth at this point. Like, it is what it is. They're really making it hard for the rest of us to get good jobs. So, you know.
And then they blame us for it when
And
it's
then
really their fault.
they fucking blame us for it. They're like, hey, why don't you get a better job? It's like, hey, why don't you die? Retire at least. Like, do me a fucking solid. Just leave the workforce already, you piece of shit.
Yeah, economists are actually really worried that when baby boomers finally retire, there's going to be too many jobs and not enough millennials to fill them. And then the market's just going to fucking crash.
They should have thought of that before the baby boomers bottlenecked the entire fucking job market. Like,
they've been saying
because
for
of the
years
system that we've created, people aren't having kids anymore too.
nobody
Yeah.
wants kids because you can't find a job, you can't get a house, nobody can afford tuition anymore, and if you do go to school, you're loaded with student debt, which goes back to the first thing. You can't get a house because you have too many student loans. And you're a woman at the same time, and they won't give you a house if you're a woman and you have debt. It's like, what do they want us to do?
And
You've
it all
caused this whole
stems
problem.
from the boomers.
Oh
I mean,
my God.
I don't want to, like, all I'm saying is that Bezos is a boomer. Isn't he? How old is
Yeah,
Bezos?
He was
He's
born
pretty
in
old, right?
1964. He's like 7 years younger than my parents.
Yeah, he's totally a boomer, right?
Yeah, he's a boomer. Yeah.
Yeah,
He's a
that's all
boomer.
I'm saying. Look at all of the 1%ers right now, and I don't mean millionaires. I don't mean people who make like 500,000 a year or whatever. I mean the billionaires and trillionaires. Are they boomers? I'm betting they're boomers.
I think they're mostly boomers.
I think a good percentage of them are boomers. So.
I'm not gonna make a statement because I don't fucking know. I don't know.
I mean, I'm pulling that out of my ass, but I think I might be right.
It sounds
Shall
right.
Yeah.
Shall we move
Anyway.
on?
Which one are we on now?
Shit.
Don't want to know.
Shite.
Oh,
Don't want to know.
don't want to know.
Oh, are we on Don't Want to Know? No, I
Yeah.
thought we just did Don't Want to Know.
No, we just
just
did
did
30. Alright, so the next song we were going to talk about was Don't Want to Know.
Yes. He is singing about how you're watching and he's asking if you're having a good time, but then he's like, no, I don't actually want to know. And then stuff like that.
Yeah, he's asking all these these questions like, do you like it? Is the show too long? Is it too short? Am I on in the background? Like, are you watching it or whatever? And he's like, I don't want to know because I think he's just terrified of what the answer might be.
It's called Anxiety.
Yeah.
So I think that song is anxiety.
Yeah. Fair
At
enough.
its core.
Yeah.
Now shit.
Yes. Shit.
This is the song I related to the
I
most.
can't remember.
It's literally when he's telling
Yeah.
people that he feels like shit.
It's the one where he's laying down, right?
No, this is the one where he has all these bright lights coming up from behind him, and he's like, "Ladies, do you feel like shit? Tell me, do you feel like shit?" And they're like, "Uh-huh." And he's like,
Oh,
"Fellas,
yeah.
do you feel like..." Where he's literally just
A
saying,
big duffel bag full of shit.
shit. He's like, "I haven't, like, showered in the last 9 days, so he's like, and I smell like shit because I haven't showered in the last 9 days." It's like the epitome of, like, where you are in, like, your depression. Where it's like,
It was
you,
definitely a pandemic song.
yeah, where it's like you don't feel anything other than shit, and so that's like because you feel like shit, you don't feel like showering, you don't feel like taking care of yourself, and you feel like shit. And he's just asking
Yep.
everybody else if they feel like shit.
Yep. relatable. Everybody feels like shit, except for the rich people.
Yeah, they were doing okay.
Fuck.
Hope they die.
Okay.
I hope no rich people listen to this podcast.
Oh my stars, rich people.
We're too poor for them, Hope. They would never. Next
How do you
song.
guys feel about Jeff Bezos' ex-wife donating a bunch of money?
I don't care.
Do you guys think, like...
I don't care. I don't think
like,
about it.
good
I don't
for her,
care.
good for the charities and stuff, but also, like...
She's not doing it to be good. She's doing it to, like, I don't know, make herself feel better or to make herself
That's
look as a.
how
they
I
don't-
feel. I think
It's
she
just-
got out of what do you call it? A
Bad
partnership,
relationship?
A marriage?
Yeah, they're getting divorced.
She got out of a marriage with a really shitty person, and the only way she could make herself, like, be able to sleep at night and not have to, like, feel like she has to cleanse herself after sharing a bed with that bald bastard.
She still
She had
gets
to
a lot
donate
of
the
money. Like, it's.
Yeah.
Sure, she's donating
like,
a lot of money, but she has
woohoo.
a shit ton of money left over, so it's like, I don't fucking care. Like,
yeah.
great for the charities, it seems insincere.
You're not
Disingenuous.
fooling me. Just
Nope.
like Californians.
Moving on.
The next song is All Time Low.
And this is where Bo Burnham.
This is the one, yeah. I
He-
mean, it
he-
is what it is. It's his all-time low. He's sitting there and he's like, so yeah, I am not doing well.
Yeah, he's not in a good place.
It was
Got a
it
feeling
was
in my
funny.
body, way down deep inside me. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah, poor guy
Well, welcome
with
to
all
the
of his money.
internet.
Yeah, welcome to the internet.
This is the one I've seen the most reactions to, with people talking about, like, oh my god, he got the internet. And it's like, he knows the internet since its conception. You know? Like, yes, he knows the internet. He's been on it. And just he understands how fucking warped and twisted it is and how easy it is to get lost in all of that garbage, and how social media, like, I don't know, it just kind of bombards you with all this information. Like, he uses the example of, here's how to make pasta, here's a 9-year-old who died, and it just keeps going, like you're scrolling through your phone, like you're not even stopping, because it doesn't faze you anymore.
Social media.
That's, I had a conversation at a dinner I went to back in Moscow after one of my classes, and I was talking about this concept that people have been theorizing for a while because they've noticed a pattern in people's behavior when it comes to social media, because they're being exhausted by all of the news bombarding them all at once, because it's
Yeah.
like one terrible thing after the other. It's like global warming, that kid needed a wheelchair and his insurance wouldn't cover it, and like Black Lives Matter, and another person died because a cop decided to shoot and mistook their fucking gun for a taser or something. And you're just like constantly bombarded with it, so you have to shut down. And like, I find myself doing it all the time, where I see another terrible thing happening and then I'm like, swipe, because I do not have the emotional capacity to handle that.
Well, it was like 2020 was just a year where, like, shit just went down, like,
Everything
think
kind
a
of
lot
like
more
came
people
to its
care.
boiling point.
yeah, and especially with the BLM movement last year, when everyone's like, oh, these are like the biggest protests that have happened since forever regarding the Black Lives Matter movement. And it's like, yeah, people aren't like, they're not going out, they're not talking to friends, they're not doing anything like they usually do. And all they have is like the news feed, and like people were finally paying attention to what's happening. And it just fucking erupted to the point that it did, because people were finally listening.
And I mean, people have been talking about this, like, social media exhaustion that's been happening for a long time, way before COVID hit. And so I wonder if during COVID, even people just really felt it, because you're already in lockdown, you can't leave your house, or you have to work during the lockdown, and you're sacrificing your health and well-being and your family's health and well-being so that you can go, like, flip burgers for some really ungrateful assholes. Like, you're already in such a shitty situation, and then you see, oh, Japan had a giant mudslide. Or, oh, Florida had an entire fucking apartment building just collapse out of nowhere. There's like 115 people under the debris. Yeah. And then
Germany is underwater.
And then, like at the beginning, because it just didn't stop, man. Like, we get COVID, and then we go in lockdown, and then there's a fucking insurrection at the White House.
Well,
and Black Lives Matter.
It started with almost World War III happening in January of 2020. Like, I don't know if people understand, like, how fucking close it was. January of 2020 last year. And then it's like things just kept escalating from there. Like, nothing stopped. Like, Australia was fucking on fire for months. And it's like all this shit was happening all over the world. Like, it wasn't just here. And then, like, you had, like, this election was the most exhausted and stressed I'd ever been for, I think, anything in my entire life. And
it was rough and way closer than it should have been.
Yeah. And then the whole insurrection, or as it's called, as a punts, where
or
it's
a coup. We could call it a coup.
It's not technically a coup, because a coup is a backed up, militarized takeover.
Well, I call a bunch of, like, police officers and military members marching up to the Capitol and trying to get through.
But it wasn't authorized by the military. That's kind of what a coup is. It's like the government and the military authorized this movement of activity for an insurrection, where it puts as a group of people, militants, if you want to call them, where they just want to overthrow things, and they're not part of the government or the military or the police force. They're just individuals. And so it was a lot. Last year was just a lot. But then he also goes into, like, how this generation is, like, not our generation, but, Gen Z is just sucked into the internet. Like, since they've been 2, that's all they knew was the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And knowing about technology and stuff.
The next song is Bezos 2. And it kind of goes like this. Jeffrey Bezos, Jeffrey Bezos, Jeffrey Bezos, ugh. And then Jeffrey Bezos, Jeffrey Bezos, Jeffrey Bezos. Congratulations!
You did it! Yeah, and then last one's congratulations.
Yep.
It's great.
So that's that. And then there's That Funny Feeling.
Yes, which I really liked. It's a nice, calming song. Well, it's not calming. It sounds calming. But I don't know, I thought it was like a nice break from the last previous songs. But also, Bo Burnham can sing and play the guitar, so I don't know what he was talking about in the beginning of the song. Where he's like, I don't sing very well and I don't play guitar very well. And it's like, you're a liar. You're very talented. Yes, you can.
We'll see. All Eyes on Me.
That's my personal favorite, aside from
I think
Shit.
it's the most popular song that's come out of this.
Well, because it's a bop. Like, it's good. It's catchy. And then also, like, the way he filmed it was pretty uncomfortable.
So,
Because he's like, all eyes on me, and then it just, like, goes into his eyes. And he just
it
stares
starts up
into
with,
your
like...
soul.
Yeah, it's like an extremely close-up of his face at the beginning of the song. And I don't know if you guys get it this way, but I thought it was a great visual representation of what an anxiety attack feels like.
I can see that.
I don't know if because a lot of people are saying it's kind of like the sequel to his song, the I Can't Handle This Kanye's rant, where, like, he's telling the audience, like, my mental health is declining. I can't handle this right now. And he's talking about the relationship between him and the audience. And it was like right after that song. I think it was like right after that song on the special, he quit comedy and canceled the rest of his tour.
Okay. So the next song is Goodbye.
Where he says goodbye.
Where he says goodbye.
Yeah. He decides he's done with the special. Oh, I guess we should have said that, like, before All Eyes on Me, he kind of tells the audience that he's not doing good. He's not doing well. And then it goes into All Eyes on Me. Yeah, and now he's just done with it with the special.
And then Any Day Now.
Stop any day now. Any day now. Any day now. It'll stop any day now. Like, that's it. That's all the song is. Hoping the pandemic ends any day now.
Yeah. So, Erin, what are your feelings after watching it?
I don't think I've had emotional whiplash since I watched the David Tennant's last season of Doctor Who. Or, no, not even then. I was emotionally whiplashed. And I felt...
I don't want to die.
I don't want to go.
Don't bring that back up.
I felt so depressed afterwards. And I felt extremely emotional. And I was crying, like, really hard. Like, I don't know, like, I felt everything, and, like, at the end I felt nothing. Just empty, tired.
Well, yeah, you go into that special thinking that it's gonna just be funny.
It's labeled as a comedy special.
And then...
It's like, it's not a comedy special.
Yeah. I mean, and it is funny. Yeah.
What about you guys?
Yeah.
Hope, what did you feel? I just thought it was a funny special. I went into it, I watched it, and I was like, this was really fucking good. And then I closed my computer and I went about my life as usual. I didn't have any visceral reaction to it. Although I will say, it took like 2 or 3 watches before I like started picking things out. Because we know that his songs are onions. So,
like an ogre.
Maybe it just took me longer to feel things. Because I saw a lot of reactions where people were like sobbing after it. And I was like, wow, I really missed out on that existential crisis everyone is having because of this. I just thought it was hilarious.
It reminded me of his last special, Make Happy, where, like, I watched it, and the 95% of it, fucking hilarious. And the last 5% of it, which was the Kanye rant, or can't handle this. And I was just like, when he said this stuff he said, I just kind of, like, started, like, I just stopped. And then I kind of just, like, started crying. Because I was like, I don't know. He makes me feel a lot of feelings that I'm not comfortable feeling.
Yeah, I don't have that reaction because I feel like I have an appropriate amount of distance between my emotions and celebrities, and I don't need them jacking shit up because there are men in my life who are already very good at that. I don't need someone I've never met to fuck my shit up.
It was
It's
just
already
so
happening.
jarring. Like, it was nothing else, like, in his special. And it was, I think that's, like, what really caught me off guard. Was, like, there was nothing telling me that this moment was going to lead up to him telling the audience, like, I love you, but I hate you. I need you, but I fear you. And it's like, and he just kind of, like, puts in Bo Burnham fashion, puts his heart on a plate, gives it to people. And I don't know, I don't know why I had a visceral reaction. I don't cry out a lot of things. Going through something right now, so I'm pretty much crying at, like, literally everything. I think I watched a lot of the interviews he had with people, and I think it just kind of helped me put things in perspective when I watched it again. How terrified he was to, like, come out of his hiding. Like, the last scene inside where, like, he comes out of the house and it's, like, a sound stage. And the audience is laughing at him as he's trying to, like, break down the door to, like, get back inside. And it's just kind of like, I don't know. That kind of, like, broke my heart because it's like, he doesn't want to be back outside, but he feels like he has to be.
It's got a real Truman Show feel to it.
What about you, Juniper? How'd you feel after watching it?
Well, I don't know. Probably similar to both of you guys. I mean, I thought it was funny. I can also super relate to his anxiety and depression and stuff since I've been going through that same thing through the pandemic. So, I mean, I can relate to that a lot. But yeah, I didn't really have, like, any sort of, like, emotional reaction. Maybe it's because I'm medicated.
Wonder what that feels
But,
like.
Maybe it's because I'm not medicated. I didn't feel anything at all.
Usually, like, I'm the dead one on the inside.
Yeah.
But I'm just...
I mean, I could definitely relate to what he was saying. I've had horrendous anxiety since I got to California. I hate my job. I'm trying to get out as quickly as possible to, like, help my anxiety a little bit. But I still, at the end of this, was just like, shit, that was funny.
I mean, we're all a little dead inside, right?
I'm the most dead.
I think you've won that trophy now, Hope. I think you're more dead inside than I am.
I'm excruciatingly dead. That's why I'm on Hinge.
Only because Tinder doesn't want you anymore. Crispy bacon.
It makes me laugh every time I think about that. I wasn't a bot. There was a person behind the bacon.
So, did we...
All right. Did we like
Loved
it?
it.
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah,
Loved it.
yeah, that was pretty much answered. So next next podcast, we're going to be reading Pride and Promiscuity by Ariel
Extit.
Sure. Why not? We'll go with that.
God. Yeah, should be better. Way better than fucking Mortal,
Handbook
whatever the
of
fuck we were
Mortals.
trying to read before.
She kept switching between first
Yeah,
person
fuck
and third
that
person,
book.
and it's like, why don't you just do third person? And then she did this thing where, like, now the character can read fucking memories, and it's like, why didn't you just write it in third person? And what about the girl that slammed her into the concrete wall? It's all about the love triangle.
about her,
This
Erin?
book made me so mad. Like, I was yelling at David all of my frustration about this book at him, and he's like, I think the feelings you have for this book are too intense. You're here. You need to be down here. Here, normal. Like, just...
And I think it was supposed to have a book deal and also a movie.
She said it was going to be
Deal or
turning
something
into
like
a
that.
movie before it was supposed to turn in, before, like, any movie deals were made. Because it was supposed to be a script. It was supposed to
even
be a
book.
movie script. And then the script became too fucking long, so she turned it into a novel. But she doesn't like to read, so she thought a fucking editor would fix all of her fucking problems, because editors are just fairies with magic wands to fix your problems. Poof. Grammar. Like, getting real heated.
Yeah. it's
Lazy
fucking
writing.
dumb.
And then she said the movie's coming out in 2018. And guess what? It's fucking 2021. There's no movie.
It's 2021, bitch.
It just...
God.
Okay, that was...
Yeah, terrible book. We didn't do it for
Yeah.
a reason, so. Yeah, even we won't read that.
Okay,
shit.
that was my rant for the book. I feel better. No, I don't feel better. I'll probably still yell about it at David. And he'll
Alright.
just stand there and just look at me like I'm fucking nuts.
Yeah, that's fair. That's
So,
fair.
well, I'm tired. I'm going to bed. So,
Yeah, me too.
we'll talk to you guys
Yeah.
next time. And I'll talk to you ladies probably sooner than we do the next podcast episode.
Yeah. Okay.
And
All right.
bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to Who Wrote This Shit. Our cover art is done by our very own Juniper Harvey Morose. Intro and outro music by Riley Tennyson. Editing by Aaron Poole and Hope Harvey Morose. You can follow us on Instagram under Girls Book 3. If you have book recommendations, please feel free to email us at girlsbook3@gmail.com. If you like the show, please rate, review, and share it. Episodes will also be uploaded to our website.